Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the weekly press briefing of the Foreign Office. I wish to begin with the keynote address by the Prime Minister at the Governing Council of the International Fund for Agricultural Development. In his address, Prime Minister Imran Khan acknowledged the significant contribution made by the fund to enhance agricultural production in the developing countries. The Prime Minister highlighted that the world is facing multiple challenges in recovering from COVID-19 pandemic and achieving the two sustainable key development goals, no poverty and zero hunger. The Prime Minister emphasized the need for a common plan and strategy for global recovery, survival and prosperity. To end poverty and hunger, the Prime Minister proposed a 5-point agenda. First, to invest in sustainable agriculture development. 2. To ensure adequate and fair prices for agriculture and food products. 3. To apply new agricultural technologies to enhance food production, improve seed quality, and ensure efficient usage of water and land. 4. To adopt digital technologies in agriculture. And 5. To rethink our patterns of food consumption and production. The Prime Minister further proposed that a new strategy for sustainable food production and consumption should be considered and adopted at the Food Systems Summit next year. The 7th edition of Pakistan Navy's multinational maritime exercise Aman 21 concluded on 16th February with a graceful international fleet review. President of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi was the chief guest at the occasion. The President congratulated the Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral M. Amjad Khan Niazi, and Pakistan Navy for successfully hosting Aman 21. Reaffirming Pakistan's resolve for promoting peace and security, the President thanked the participating regional and extra-regional navies for displaying their commitment to collaborative maritime security. With the participation of 42 nations, including ships and aircraft from China, Indonesia, Japan, Russia, Sri Lanka, Turkey, US, and the United Kingdom, Aman 21 was yet another manifestation of Pakistan's global engagement and abiding commitment, as well as contribution to the promotion of international peace and security. An international maritime conference was also held in Karachi on the sidelines of Aman 21. Addressing the conference, Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi reaffirmed Pakistan's abiding commitment to maritime peace and security. He underscored the critical role of blue economy in promoting sustainable growth and development. Foreign Minister Qureshi also underlined that China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and the development of Gwadar Port are game-changing projects that have further enhanced Pakistan's geo-economic significance. On the invitation of his Egyptian counterpart, Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi is currently visiting the Arab Republic of Egypt. During the visit, the Foreign Minister held detailed discussions with Foreign Minister Sameh Hassan Shukri on key issues of common interest, including regional situation. The Foreign Minister met with the Secretary General of the Arab League, Ahmed Abu Ghaith, at the headquarters of the organization in Cairo and discussed the issues of mutual interest in great details. The Foreign Minister also called on the President of Egypt, Abdul Fattah al-Sisi, and other dignitaries. During his visit, the Foreign Minister also called on the President, and during the meeting, Foreign Minister discussed Pakistan's desire to further strengthen and diversify bilateral ties between the two brotherly countries. Conveying warm greetings of Pakistan's leadership to President al-Sisi, the Foreign Minister briefed him on the situation in Pakistan's neighborhood, in particular Pakistan's efforts to facilitate the Afghan peace process. He also briefed the President on the ongoing situation in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir and the continuing human rights violations there. Reciprocating the warm sentiments of the Pakistani leadership, President Al-Sisi expressed the hope that the visit of Foreign Minister Qureshi would pave the way for enhanced bilateral ties and dynamic multilateral cooperation. In line with Pakistan's desire to forge stronger ties with the Islamic world, as well as the government's Engage Africa initiative, Pakistan accords high importance to its relations with the Arab Republic of Egypt. Head of Afghan Masood Foundation, Mr. Ahmad Wali Masood, along with his delegation, arrived in Islamabad yesterday. During the visit, Mr. Ahmad Wali Masood called on the Prime Minister and the Speaker of the National Assembly of Pakistan. He is also scheduled to hold meetings with the Foreign Minister and other dignitaries. In his meeting with Mr. Ahmad Wali Masood, the Prime Minister reiterated his long-standing position that there is no military solution to the conflict in Afghanistan and that a political solution is the only way forward. The Prime Minister also underscored that all Afghan parties must work for reduction in violence leading to ceasefire and conveyed that Pakistan would support whatever the Afghans agree upon about the future of their country. During his meeting, Mr. Ahmad Wali Masood appreciated Pakistan's critical role in facilitating the Afghan peace process. The visit of Mr. Ahmad Wali Masood is part of Pakistan's policy to reach out to Afghan leadership and also deepen people-to-people linkages between the two brotherly countries. Pakistan remains committed to strengthening bilateral relations with Afghanistan and facilitating an inclusive, broad-based and comprehensive political settlement of the Afghan conflict through an Afghan-led and Afghan-owned peace process. Now coming to the situation in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, amidst unprecedented military siege since 5th of August 2019, India continues its efforts to mislead the world community. As part of its propaganda, India has taken another group of New Delhi-based diplomats on a guided tour to IIOJK. The fact that the people of IIOJK greeted the envoys with spontaneous and voluntary strike has evidently expressed the true feelings of the Kashmiri people against the illegal Indian occupation. It may be recalled that the choreographers of last such visit to IIOJK had come under sharp international criticism for presenting retired soldiers as apple growers to the visiting envoys. We believe that such guided tours are a smokescreen aimed at diverting international attention from India's egregious human rights violations in IIOJK and creating a false impression of normalcy. The visit means nothing in the absence of access to all the areas and free interaction with the Kashmiri people and the civil society in an atmosphere free of intimidation. Equally, meeting the senior Hurriyat leadership, including those incarcerated on trumped-up charges, would have enabled an objective assessment of the ground realities. India must allow the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, the United Nations observers, the OIC Independent Permanent Human Rights Commission, the international human rights and civil society organizations, and the international media to visit IIOJK and assess the situation on ground. In its 2020 report on Muslim communities in non-OIC member countries, the OIC General Secretariat has raised serious concerns on the treatment of Muslim population in India and in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The report covers the anti-Muslim actions of the BJP RSS regime, including the aftermath of India's illegal actions of 5th August 2019 in IIOJK, the discriminatory citizenship laws and Delhi pogrom, and rise of cow vigilantism and anti-Muslim campaigns of the extremist Hindu groups. The findings of the report are another reminder of the need for the world community to hold India accountable for continuing failure to meet its international human rights obligations. As part of Pakistan's regular diplomatic outreach to keep the international community fully apprised of the developments relating to IIOJK and the region, Foreign Secretary Suhail Mahmood briefed the heads of diplomatic missions in Islamabad. The Foreign Secretary underscored that the international community must call upon India to stop violations of human rights and facilitate efforts for peaceful resolution of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute in accordance with the relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions. Now let me conclude by appreciating the non-resident Pakistanis for making the government of Pakistan's initiative of Roshan digital accounts a great success. Roshan digital accounts are being offered by banks to provide digital banking solutions to millions of non-resident Pakistanis for the first time in Pakistan's history. Any non-resident Pakistani can now easily open a bank account in Pakistan from abroad digitally with simplified requirements. Over 87,000 accounts have already been opened from 97 countries around the world. The overseas Pakistanis have also sent $500 million to Pakistan in just 5 months through their Roshan digital accounts. The overseas Pakistanis continue making the nation proud of their contribution to the national development efforts. With this, I thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions on these